4002. So here we are doing a revision on previous topic, which is types of antigens. So in the last lecture we discussed about antigens. So what is the meaning or what is the definition of antigen? So antigen is a substance that will induce the immune cells, the B cells, to produce antibodies by our body. So the substances that will trigger the immune system to produce antibodies are called as antigens, or to be precise, antigen full name is antibody generators. So these are the substances that will induce our immune system to generate antibodies, particularly the B cells. So such kind of substances are called as antigens. So then I discussed about different types of antigens. Then I discussed about the structure of antigen. If you see the structure of antigen, it has two parts, the functional part and the non-functional part. Together it is called as complete antigen. So the part of the antigen that will bind with antibody is called as epitope, and incomplete antigens will be completed by adding substances called adjuvants. So upon adding adjuvant to the incomplete antigen, complete antigen. So incomplete antigen is also called as partial antigen, or there is a specific term for incomplete antigen. Incomplete antigen is also called as hapten. Do you remember? So incomplete antigens are also called as haptens, and haptens can be completed by adding adjuvants. Then I discussed about a mixture of different types of antigens. So a group of heterophile antigens are called as a group of different types of antigens are called as heterophile antigens, whereas any two antigens which has similarities means such antigens are called as alloantigens. Then the part of the antibody that binds with antigen is called as a paratope. Then I discussed about different types of antigens depending upon their origin. So depending upon their origin, antigens are of three types: exoantigens, endoantigens, and the autoantigens. So we have exoantigens, endoantigens, and autoantigens. Then I discussed about the other things like depending upon the chemical nature, the antigens are of four types. We have proteinous antigens, polysaccharide antigens, nuclear antigens, and lipoprotein antigens, or lipid antigens. So nuclear antigens present inside the nucleus of the cell, whereas lipid antigens usually present in the cell membrane. Protein antigens present inside the cytoplasm, especially in the ribosomes, and the polysaccharide antigens also present in the cytoplasm. So these are the antigens depending upon the chemical nature. Then we discussed about antigens depending upon their origin. So depending upon their origin, antigens are of three types: exogenous antigens, endoantigens, and autoantigens. Then depending upon their immune response, antigens are further divided into two types: complete antigens and incomplete antigens. Incomplete antigens are also called as haptens. So the molecular size, if the molecular size is less than 10 kilodaltons, 10,000 kilodaltons, so such antigens are called as incomplete antigens, or they are also called as partial antigens or haptens. And in order to make this complete, we need to add a substances called adjuvants. So adjuvants are the substances that will make an incomplete antigen to a complete antigen. So adjuvants are the non-immunogenic, non-protein substances that are upon adding to the incomplete antigen, it will make a hapten into a complete antigen. So such substances are called as adjuvants. So adjuvants make haptens a complete antigen. Then I discussed about factors influencing antigenicity, or factors determining the antigenicity. So some of the factors that determining the antigenicity include foreignness of the antigen. The more the foreign the antigen, the greater the immunogenicity it will induce on the body. So foreignness of the antigen, molecular size of the antigen. To be a good antigen, it should have at least greater than 10,000 kilodalton weight or kilodalton size. Only that antigen can give a nice immune response in our body. Then depending upon chemical nature, usually proteinous antigens will have more antigenicity compared to the other types of antigens, such as nuclear antigens or lipid antigens. Then depending upon the physical state, solid antigens will have more reaction compared to the liquid antigens. Then depending upon specificity, heterogeneous antigens will show more reactions compared to allo antigens. Then depending upon species, other species antigens will have more antigenicity compared to the same species antigens. Then we have organ specific antigens. Then the person's genetics also plays an important role in the antigenicity of any particular substance. Then age is one factor corresponding to the antigenicity. Then dose of the antigen that is administered will determine the antigenicity of the antigen, and also the route of administration of antigen also determines the antigenicity of the antigen. So these are the certain factors that will influence the antigenicity, right? So this is the points that we discussed in the last lecture. Any more doubts in antigen topic, students? Is this topic clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
Right? Clear,
Yes,
right?
sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Then I'm moving forward to the today's lecture. So in today's lecture, I will discuss about antibodies in detail. So let us discuss about antibodies in detail. Shall I proceed to antibodies?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes, sir.
yeah. Okay. So let me take a new PowerPoint and let me take. So today topic I will discuss about antibodies. So get ready. Let me take some slides here. Okay. So let me stop sharing this one. Let me close these slides and then let me go to PowerPoint sharing. Yeah. So kindly let me know if you are seeing a white display, whiteboard. Can you able to see a whiteboard here?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So let me take highlighter and let me discuss about antibodies in detail. So in today's lecture, we are going to discuss about antibodies in detail. Okay. So I'm going to discuss about antibodies. Antibodies. So I will discuss about antibodies. So let us see what are these antibodies, what is the role of these antibodies. BODIES, antibodies. Okay. So I'm going to discuss about antibodies. So in this, I will discuss about the structure of antibody, types of antibodies, properties of antibodies, and the functions of antibodies. So I will cover three important topics. First, I will discuss about how antibodies are generated in our body. So origin of antibodies. Then I will discuss about structure of antibodies. Then I will discuss classes of antibodies or types of antibodies. Then I will finish with functions or properties of antibodies. So I will cover these four topics in this lecture. So first let us see the origin of antibodies or introduction to antibodies. So antibodies means, listen carefully students, in our body we have a cells. We have a specific cells called B cells. Okay. So we have something called B cells. Now helper T cell 2 okay, helper T cell 2 will activate B cells. It will activate B cells by releasing two types of cytokines. Do you remember the types of cytokines? Helper T cell 2 will release interleukin 3 and interleukin 4. It will release interleukin 3 and interleukin 4. Do you remember, students? If you are studying, then you will remember. Yes, okay. So helper T cell 2 will release these two chemical messengers. They are called cytokines. These cytokines are called interleukin 3 and interleukin 4. So interleukin 3 and interleukin 4 will activate a B cell. Now the B cell will get activated and this B cell will be transformed into activated B cell. Activated B cell is called as? Activated B cell is called as?
Plasma cell.
Plasma cell. So activated B cell is called as plasma cell, and these plasma cells will start producing antibodies. These plasma cells will start producing antibodies. So they will start producing antibodies to kill a pathogen. So these antibodies may kill some bacteria. So this bacteria can be stated as an antigen. So these antibodies will kill an antigen, a foreign antigen. Okay. Now the shape of antibodies will be in Y shape. So they are Y shape proteins, and to be precise, these are we have different types of proteins: lipoproteins, globular proteins, gamma proteins. Like that, we have different types of proteins in our body. So our antibodies are IgG immunoglobulins. Okay, our antibodies are gamma globulins. For example, let me tell you. These antibodies are globulins in nature. All antibodies are globulin in nature. GLOBULIN. So all antibodies are globulin in nature. So that is why they are called as immunoglobulins. So if you see their chemical nature, they are globulin in nature. So that is why these antibodies are typically they are called as immunoglobulins. Immunoglobulins. They are called as immunoglobulins. Okay. So here we have 5 types of immunoglobulins. Basically, the shape of immunoglobulin will be Y shape. Usually immunoglobulins will be in Y shape. Now, these immunoglobulins will come in 5 types. So I'm going to write these 5 types as a mnemonic. So as I already stated, it is a game of destruction, right? So the immune system is like a game of destroying pathogens. It is a game of destruction. GAMED. So immunoglobulins, the immune system is a game of destruction. So it will create game D. So GAMED. So here we will get 5 types of antibodies. So we have totally 5 types of antibodies in our body. So the 5 types include IgG, then IgA, then we have IgM, immunoglobulin M, then we have immunoglobulin E, IgE, then we have immunoglobulin E, then we have one more antibody which is called IgD. So these are the 5 types of antibodies we have in our body. So what are the 5 types? Immunoglobulin gamma, immunoglobulin alpha, immunoglobulin mu, immunoglobulin epsilon, and immunoglobulin delta. So they are taken these words from Greek words. Okay, so that is why they kept gamma, alpha, beta, gamma, delta. Okay, zeta, theta, iota, kappa, lambda. So they are the Greek words. So they kept the Greek words for the immunoglobulins. So typically we have 5 classes of immunoglobulins or antibodies. So the 5 types of antibodies include IgG, IgA, IgM, IgE, and IgD. So all these are the 5 types of antibodies. So if you see the structure of these antibodies, so first I will draw a simplified structure, then we will see the complicated structure of the antibody. So typically IgG looks like a Y-shaped antibody. So it is a monomer. IgG looks like a Y-shaped antibody. Whereas IgA is a dimer. So IgA dimer means there are 2 antibodies together. So antibody 1, this is one antibody and this is another antibody. So 2 antibodies will be stick together by a hinge-like protein. So this is the structure of IgA. So IgA is a dimer. That means 2 antibodies together are there. So that is why it is called a dimer, D-I-M-E-R. Okay, dimer in nature. Whereas IgG is a monomer. That means only one antibody is present. IgG is monomer. IgG is monomer. IgG is monomer. Are you following me, students? Are you listening?
Yes, sir.
If you have any doubts, please
Yes, sir.
stop me. Okay. Okay. Good. So IgG is monomer. IgA is dimer. That means it is a combination of 2 antibodies. Then we have IgM. IgM is the largest antibody. Okay. IgM is the largest antibody and it is a pentamer. IgM is a pentamer. It is a pentamer. That means you already understood, right? Penta means how many hexagons? Can anyone say penta means how much? What is the number of penta?
5.
Sir, 5.
5. Very good.
5.
Very good. So penta means 5. That means here we will have 5 antibodies together. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 antibodies together, it will make a structure called pentamer. So IgM is the pentamer in nature, and also there are certain interesting things about IgM. IgM is one of the oldest antibody that is generated in the history of evolution. So if you see the species, IgM are the primitive antibodies that are originated in the nature. So IgM antibodies are one of the oldest antibodies to be known till date. So IgM are one of the oldest antibodies that are generated in the evolution. So it is one of the largest antibody in our body. So since it is a combination of 5 antibodies, so the molecular size will be the highest molecular size. So IgM is one of the largest antibody in our body. So IgM is pentamer, whereas IgE and IgD are once again monomers. IgE looks like a monomer and IgD also looks like a monomer. So these are the 5 types of antibodies we have. G is monomer, A is a dimer, M is pentamer, E and D are monomers. Is this clear for everyone? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes, sir.
listen. Very damn important point. Keep in mind, when the B cell producing antibodies, the first type of antibodies that will be produced by the activated plasma cell will be IgM in nature. That means first plasma cell will produce IgM antibodies. So they are called first response antibodies. IgM are called as first response antibodies. Okay, but they won't stay for a long time. IgM antibodies won't stay for a long time. IgM antibodies will be died later. So IgM antibodies are the first generated antibodies in our body. So first, during any infection or during any bacteria entering into our body, IgM antibodies will be produced by the plasma cells. So IgM antibodies will be produced first by the plasma cells. After IgM antibodies, plasma cells will take some 2 to 3 days time. After 2 to 3 days, plasma cells, actually it requires more than 1 week. So after 7 days, plasma cells will start producing more stabilized and very good antibodies. Compared to IgM, we have a stabilized and more powerful antibodies. Those antibodies are IgG antibodies. So during second response, IgG antibodies will be produced by the plasma cells. IgG antibodies will give real protection from the pathogen. So presence of IgG antibodies indicates, yes, the person has been recovered from infection or immune system has been completely destroyed the pathogen. So IgG antibodies will kill all the pathogens. IgG antibodies are very powerful antibodies in our body. Okay. So IgG are second response antibodies. So primary response antibodies are IgM, whereas second response antibodies are IgG. Is this clear for everyone? The first response
Yes, sir.
antibodies will be IgM, then second response antibodies will be IgG. Students, is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Then what
Yes,
is
sir.
pentamer? What type of antibodies are pentamer in nature?
IgM.
IgA?
IgM.
IgM.
IgM, very good. What is the dimer? Dimer antibody?
IgA.
IgA.
A
IG,
is
IgA.
dimer, very good. And monomers?
IgG, IgE, IgD.
Very good.
E,
Then
I,
first generated antibodies?
IgM.
IgM.
IgM, very good.
IgM.
Then
IgM.
very good. See, I was really proud of you. Very good, very good.
Thank you.
Then I will add some more data here. Then I will proceed to the next topic. Okay. This is all introduction only. I'm just giving you some important data regarding antibodies. Now, let me tell other important parameters such as functions of these 5 types of antibodies. Functions of these 5 antibodies. So before discussing the functions, I want to tell. Okay, I will discuss functions. Okay. So first, see the functions of antibodies. So let me write the functions of these antibodies here. Let me take another ink. Maybe I will take red color. No, I will take purple color. That will be better. So let me discuss about functions of these 5 types of antibodies. So let us discuss about IgG. So keep in mind, students, I will draw a mother and a baby. So this is a mother, and this is a fetus or baby. Okay. So usually when the baby is inside the mother's womb, mother will exchange blood with baby. And also mother immune system will protect the baby. Certain antibodies will cross the placenta of the mother and they will give protection to the baby. By the way, there is only one type of antibodies that will give protection to baby. So these antibodies are capable of passing through the placental barrier. There are only one type of antibody in our body that can able to bypass from the placental barrier into the baby, and it will give protection to the baby. So those antibodies are IgG antibodies. So IgG antibodies will give protection to the baby. So they can cross the placenta and they will give protection to the developing baby. So IgG antibodies will give protection to the baby, and also IgG are one of the most stabilized and better antibodies at killing pathogens. So IgG can able to kill all types of pathogens. So this is the function of IgG. Is this clear for everyone? The function of
Yes.
IgG?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
IgG will cross the placental barrier and they will give protection to the baby. So that is the major function of IgG antibodies. Then the second important antibodies are IgA antibodies. You know what is the role of IgA antibodies? These antibodies will give protection in the body fluids. So all body secretions will have IgA antibodies. For example, mother will give me the example for passive natural immunization. What is the example for passive natural immunization?
So colostrum.
Colostrum, very good. Breast
Colostrum.
milk, breast milk of a mother.
Breast milk.
So breast milk will contain, it will give passive immunity to the baby. That means it will give antibodies to the baby, right? So what type of antibodies present in the colostrum? What type of antibodies present in the breast milk? So the type of
IgA.
antibodies that are present in breast milk are IgA in
IgA.
nature. So IgA antibodies will give protection, they will present in the body secretions. So not only in colostrum, so IgA antibodies present in all body secretions. So yes, good afternoon. You please stay quiet. Please stay quiet. Stay quiet, okay. So yeah. So IgA antibodies present in the body secretions. So not only in breast milk, IgA antibodies are also present in the tears. They are present in the ears, nasal secretions, genitourinary secretions, and even in the gastrointestinal and pleural secretions. So all body secretions will have IgA antibodies. Okay. So all body fluids will have and IgA antibodies, or all mucosal surfaces will have IgA antibodies. Is this clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
So all body secretions will have IgA antibodies. Then we have another type of antibodies which are called IgE. So the role of IgE antibodies are, they will involve in hypersensitivity reactions. IgE antibodies involve in allergic reactions. Sometimes we will get allergy. People will say their allergy, they have allergy towards milk, they have allergy towards dust, they have allergy towards certain food, they have allergy towards pollen grains. So all these allergies are mediated by IgE antibodies. IgE are highly sensitive and highly reactive antibodies in our body. So all allergies are mediated by IgE antibodies. Okay. So sneezing, sudden sneezing, you will get repeated sneezing after going to exposing to dust. So all those hypersensitivity reactions are caused by IgE antibodies. So allergies are mediated by IgE antibodies. Okay. Allergies, we have a specific term for allergies. Allergies are called as hypersensitivity reactions. Allergies are also called as hypersensitivity reactions. Hypersensitivity reactions. So all hypersensitivity reactions are mediated by IgE. Now I will tell one important thing in IgE. Now let me tell you one important thing which is called anaphylactic shock. There is a term called anaphylactic shock. ANAPHYLATIC. Anaphylactic shock. So anaphylactic shock means it is a severe form of inflammation, especially in the lungs and the brain. So we will get a severe inflammation in the lungs and in the brain. What will happen if you have inflammation in the lungs and brain? Lungs will, the pneumocytes in the lungs will be constricted and blood supply to the brain will be restricted. So that person cannot breathe and person cannot be stay conscious because lack of blood supply to the brain and lungs. That will result in sudden collapse of the patient. The patient will suddenly collapse on the floor and he will die within 5 to 10 minutes if we are not treating. So this particular condition is called anaphylactic shock. Usually we will encounter anaphylactic shock during blood transfusion. So during blood transfusion, we will encounter a problem called anaphylactic shock, and that anaphylactic shock is mediated by IgE antibodies. So keeping these antibodies in control is one of the essential parameters to save the patient life. So immediately we will use certain drugs to block IgE activity. So IgE antibodies will mediate in allergic reactions or hypersensitivity reactions. And they will also induce a potentially death-causing condition called anaphylactic shock. So anaphylactic shock, hypersensitivity reactions, and allergies are mediated by IgE antibodies. Is this clear for everyone? The role of IgE antibodies.
Yes, sir.
Clear, right?
Yes, sir.
Just a second. So that is all about IgE. Then let me discuss about other antibodies such as IgD and IgM. So IgD antibody students. So the role of IgD antibodies is they won't kill any pathogens. They will just present on the surface of B cells. They will act as a receptors actually. They doesn't have any antibody properties. They will act as a receptors on the surface of B cells. So they will present on the surface of B cells. So IgD antibodies present on the surface of B cells. So that is the role of IgD antibodies. And till today, we don't know the exact function of IgM antibody students. We don't know what is the exact role of IgM antibodies. So IgM antibodies are just precursors of IgG antibodies. That is what we know, but we don't know the exact functions of IgM antibodies. So the function is still unknown to the scientific community. So if you want a Nobel means, try to find the reason for IgM antibodies, then you will get your Nobel Prize. Okay, so we don't know what is the function of this IgM antibodies. Okay, so this is the major functions of 5 types of antibodies. So I will ask some questions. Before that, a quick revision. So IgG antibodies present, they will give protection to the baby, and the IgG antibodies can able to cross the placental barrier and they will give protection to the baby. Then IgE antibodies present in all body secretions such as breast milk, tears, vitreous humor, mucous surfaces, lungs. So all mucous lining will have IgA antibodies. IgE antibodies mediates in allergic reactions. IgD antibodies present on the surface of B cells acting as a receptors, and IgM antibodies will act as a precursors for generation of IgG antibodies. Or IgM antibodies are the first response antibodies that are generated by the plasma cells, whereas Ig2 are the second response antibodies that are generated by the activated plasma cells. So these are the 5 major functions of the 5 types of antibodies. Is that clear for everyone?
Yes, sir.
So just tell me what antibody is present in the vitreous humor, in the tears. What antibody is present in tears?
IgA.
IgA, very good.
IgA.
Very good. What antibody is present in allergic reactions?
IgE.
IgE, very good. Then what antibodies will cross the placental barrier?
IgG.
IgG, very good. Then
IgG.
what antibodies will present on the surface of B cells?
IgD.
IgD.
IG?
IgD.
D.
IgD, very good. IgD. Then what antibodies are the precursors of IgG antibodies?
IgM.
IgM.
IgM. What are the first response antibodies?
IgM.
IgA.
IgM.
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 What are second response antibodies?
IgG.
IgD.
What are the largest
IgG.
antibodies?
IgM.
IgM.
IgM. Largest antibodies are IgM. Okay. So very good, students. Now you got some idea about the types of antibodies. Now very good. So I'm moving forward. So now I will. My next concept is I will discuss about structure of antibody. So before discussing about structure and functions of antibodies, I want to give you one clear instruction, students. Keep in mind, there is a major misconception or misassumption in immunology. You know what is that major misassumption? Is people will think that antibodies will kill bacteria. They will always say antibodies will kill bacteria. Our body will produce something called antibodies and they will kill all bacteria, or they will kill all types of pathogens. Antibodies are like the best thing in our body. Actually, that is not true. People usually they will say antibodies will kill pathogens, but that is not the exact scenario. If antibody is not killing bacteria, then what things are killing bacteria? Who are responsible for killing a bacteria? So this is a vague statement. Maybe you will feel awkward. Why Vamsis are saying like this? The statement that I'm giving is antibodies are useless things. Antibodies won't kill bacteria. But every immunology test, they will say antibodies play a vital role. Antibodies will kill bacteria. Antibodies are like everything. They are the ultimate defense molecules that are generated by our immune system. If that is the case, then why I'm saying that antibodies are useless? So let me tell the exact scenario or the exact mechanism on how the antibodies will kill a pathogen. So believe it or not, it is not the antibodies that are killing the pathogen, but it is something called complement proteins in our body. We have something called complement proteins in our body, and it is the complement proteins that are actually killing the bacteria, or that are the actually things that are killing a pathogen. Always the killing is mediated by complement proteins, but these complement proteins require an antibody. Without an antibody, complement proteins cannot do anything. Complement proteins can only be activated by antibodies. So antibodies are just like an activating molecules to activate complement proteins. So complement proteins, we have an entire dedicated chapter for discussing complement proteins. So we have 30 complement proteins in our body, C1, C2, C3, C4, like that. We have 30 complement proteins, and these 30 complement proteins, they will activate it together to form something called membrane attack complex, and this membrane attack complex will kill the bacteria. So activation of these complement proteins can only be possible by antibodies. So I will, maybe you are confused a little bit. I will show it as a pictorial representation. Then you will get some idea about the action of antibodies. So see here. Let me take a marker. Okay. So see here, students. Imagine antibody as a gun. Imagine antibody as a gun. Okay. I don't know how I'm trying to draw this one. Yeah. Imagine antibodies as a gun. Sorry. Arey yaar. That's why I need blackboard. So this gun will have bullets. So it will release a bullet, a bada bullet. Okay. Okay. The gun releasing a bullet. So this is a pathogen. Let me draw a pathogen here. So this is a bacteria. Okay. So this is a bacteria. Okay, so here I have shown you a picture. So see here. So we have a gun and we have a bullet. So who will here the bullets are complement proteins. The bullets are complement proteins. So bullets are complement proteins. Complement proteins. Complement. Bullets are complement proteins. Okay. Proteins. Bullets are complement proteins, whereas this gun is like an antibody. This gun is like an antibody. This gun is like an antibody. Gun is like an antibody. So the actual killing is mediated by complement proteins only. So what these complement proteins will do is they will drill holes on the surface of bacteria. They will drill absolute pores. They will drill holes on the surface of bacteria. Okay. So they will drill holes on surface of bacteria and they will kill bacteria. So this hole making, the pore making by complement proteins on the surface of bacteria is called as membrane attack complex. So they will form a series of reactions to form holes on the surface of bacteria, and this phenomenon is called as membrane attack complex, MAC. It is called as membrane attack complex. Due to this membrane attack complex only, all types of bacteria will be died. So bacteria will die due to membrane attack complex, which is initiated by complement proteins. But always a bullet need a gun to trigger, right? A bullet need a gun to trigger, and that gun will be antibody. Antibodies will trigger the complement proteins to kill a pathogen. But here is a important thing. We have antibodies in our body. We have complement proteins in our body. But will gun shoot itself, students? Someone need to trigger this, right? Someone need to trigger the button to release the complement proteins. So who is triggering this button? Who will trigger this button? This button will be triggered by cytokine molecules in our body. Cytokines. So these are I'm getting calls. I will hate when I'm getting calls during lecture. Okay, listen to me. Cytokines. This gun will be activated by cytokines, or we have one more. I'm going to write one more word. Just remember, opsocins. 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 So I'm giving you new words. Kindly remember. So opsocins. So opsocins or cytokines will activate the antibodies to release complement proteins, so that the complement proteins will kill a pathogen by initiating a complex called membrane attack complex. Okay, so the complement proteins will kill a bacteria with the help of antibodies by activating by either cytokines or opsocins. Okay, now these complement proteins will kill this bacteria by membrane attack complex by 3 pathways. It will kill by 3 pathways. Okay, so I'm just writing the names. We will discuss later. So these complement proteins will kill bacteria by 3 pathways. One pathway is classical pathway, CP. We have classical pathway. Then we have alternative pathway. And we have one more pathway called lectin pathway. So no matter whatever pathway it is, the ultimate result of these pathways is generation of membrane attack complex, and membrane attack complex will kill the bacteria. So complement proteins will be activated by these 3 pathways: classical pathway, alternative pathway, or lectin pathway, to kill bacteria by membrane attack complex. For this you need complement proteins, but complement proteins can only be activated in the presence of antibodies. So these antibodies can be usually IgG, IgM, or IgA. Only IgG, M and A will involve in activation of complement proteins, but sometimes even E will get activated, and E will cause many consequences in our body. E will cause reactions. Usually E won't react, but the normal antibodies that will trigger are IgG, M and A. But these antibodies still need an activator such as cytokines or opsocins to kill a pathogen. So broadly, the antibodies will kill a pathogen by 2 pathways. Direct pathway. So directly antibodies can kill a bacteria, or antibodies will also kill bacteria by indirect pathway by complement proteins. So we have indirect pathways by complement protein. So in indirect pathway we have classical pathway, alternative pathway, and lectin pathway to generate membrane attack complex to kill the pathogen. So here we have direct functions of antibodies, and we have indirect functions of antibodies. Indirect functions of antibodies are mediated by complement proteins, whereas direct functions of antibodies are mediated by 5 types of reactions, like agglutination reactions, precipitation reactions, and flocculation reactions that I will discuss later. So usually the functions of antibodies are broadly divided into 2 types. So by direct action of antibodies, or by indirect action of antibodies by complement proteins. Is this clear for everyone? Is this concept clear for everyone?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Excuse me,
Deepak?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, opsocin is a process, sir, where the complement protein and the antibodies attach to the body of bacteria.
Yes. Yes, Deepak. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, so that I will discuss later. First, I'm giving you some idea about these words. Then in the future classes, you will understand what is the role of opsocins, what is the role of cytokines, what is the role of membrane attack complex, what is the role of complement proteins. All these things you will know later.
Sir, this is the
But
part
for
of
now, you just remember the words,
cytotoxin.
okay? So here I discussed direct functions of antibodies and indirect functions of antibodies. So kindly write down the direct functions of antibodies. So the direct functions of antibodies are of 4 types. One is agglutination. So antibodies will do something called agglutination. These are direct functions. Or they will do something called precipitation. Antibodies will cause something called precipitation. Okay. Or they will cause neutralization. They will cause a neutralization. These are direct actions of antibodies. They will do something called neutralization, and they will also do something called lysis of bacteria directly. So these are the 4 direct functions of antibodies. So antibodies will do these 4 types. First one is agglutination, second one is precipitation, third one is neutralization, or fourth one is lysis. So these are the 4 direct actions of the antibodies. So the direct actions of antibodies are agglutination, precipitation, neutralization, and lysis. So these are the 4 direct actions of antibodies. Then we have indirect actions of antibodies. So indirect actions are mediated by complement proteins. So these are indirect actions of antibodies. So indirect actions of antibodies. So indirect actions of antibodies will be mediated by complement proteins. Now write the indirect actions. So indirect actions include opsonization, 1 opsonization, 2 lysis, then 3 chemotaxis. Chemotaxis, I hope you remember what is chemotaxis. Can anyone say what is chemotaxis means?
Movement of due to the
Yes,
chemical
movement of white blood cells toward the pathogen is called chemotaxis. Now, keep in mind, students, a very important term. One of the important opsocin in our body is C3b molecule. So C3b molecules are one of the important opsocins in our body. So C3b are one of the important opsocins. These C3b are a part of complement proteins. The function of C3b I will discuss during unit 4. In the complement system unit, I will discuss in detail about the role of C3b molecules in the indirect killing of pathogens. So the indirect functions include opsonization by C3b, lysis, chemotaxis. Then we have classical functions such as agglutination and neutralization and mast cell activation. So the 6th one is mast cell activation. Mast cell activation. So there are a group of cells called mast cells, and they will cause mast cells are responsible for releasing heparin in our body. Okay, so heparin is produced by mast cells and basophils. Anyway, so mast cells are one of the important chemical granule containing cells that I will discuss later. So by mast cells also we can able to kill pathogens. So these are the indirect actions of the antibodies. So the indirect actions include opsonization by C3b, lysis, chemotaxis, agglutination, neutralization, and by mast cells the antibodies will kill the pathogen. So usually indirect action is mediated by complement proteins. Complement proteins have three pathways: classical pathway, alternative pathway, and the lectin pathway. In the classical pathway we have these 5 functions: opsonization, lysis, chemotaxis, agglutination, neutralization, and mast cell activation. So no matter whatever pathway it is, the ultimate aim is to generate membrane attack complex, and this membrane attack complex will kill the pathogen. So these are the indirect actions of the antibodies, whereas the direct actions of antibodies include agglutination, precipitation, neutralization, and lysis. So these are the direct actions of antibodies. Is this concept clear for everyone? Any confusions? Any confusion so far? Is it too much for you? Shall we end this lecture or shall I continue with structure of antibody? What is your opinion, students? Tell me.
Sir, and
Ending?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Miss
Yes, sir,
Muskan.
Sir, what is MAT? M-A-T.
MAC, MAC. MAC stands for membrane
Yes,
attack
sir, MAC.
complex. membrane attack complex, MAC, membrane attack, A attack, C complex. Okay. Very, very important, Muskan.
Sir,
I will discuss in
complex
complement
means
system. Huh?
Sir,
Yes.
when it will make complex, when bacteria is attacked.
Yes, whenever bacteria coming into our body, then MAC will be generated. Yes, MAC only generates when there is a bacteria. But very good question, Muskan. Sometimes these complement proteins will activated without involvement of antibodies. That is the major problem. Complement proteins will activated without antibodies and they will cause autoimmune disorders. They will
Autoimmune
simply kill our own cells. Complement proteins will kill our own cells without involvement of antibody. So this is called as autoimmune disorders. So in all autoimmune disorders, complement system will be activated. That is why students, it is like this in our body. Always complement proteins will try to explode, but the antibodies will keep them they will keep them nullified. Only when we want, they will trigger the complement proteins to blast. So believe it or not, 30% of our genes, 30% of genes in our body are dedicated to suppress complement proteins. 30% of genetic material in our body is dedicated only for controlling complement protein activation. Now you can understand how much complicated the system is. Because they can it is like having a grenade in our body. Always we are carrying a grenade in our hand. We don't know when it will explode. We don't know when the lock will be removed. So it is like traveling with a suicide bomb in our body, in our immune system. So that is why always our immune system will keep an eye on activation of these complement proteins. But there are some smart bacteria and some smart microorganisms that can able to bypass this complement proteins and they can able to invade in our body. So even though we have this much complicated weapon machinery in our body to kill pathogens, but still pathogens are very smart at causing infections in our body. So now you can understand how much smart the pathogens are. We are getting fever means literally that pathogen is a very smart guy. It bypassed all types of these barriers to cause an infection in our body. It bypassed the macrophages, it bypassed the phagocytosis, it bypassed the killer T cell activity, it bypassed the helper T cell activities, it bypassed the dendritic cell activities, it bypassed the antibody activation in our body, it bypassed the opsocins in our body, it bypassed the complement proteins in our body, and it nicely eating our body. So how smart it is, how smart the pathogens at causing infection to our body by bypassing all these clever weaponry in our body. So very, very smart. So even though we have a very good immune system, but still the pathogens are really outsmarting us, particularly some specific pathogens such as the tuberculosis. You know, what is the favorite food for tuberculosis bacilli? The favorite food is macrophages, antigen presenting cells. Usually antigen presenting cells will digest the pathogen, but tuberculosis bacilli can only survive inside the macrophage. So macrophage will come like this to kill tuberculosis, but tuberculosis will be waiting for that event. Please come, please eat me. So after coming macrophage, it will happily reside inside the macrophage, and it will cause something called Ghon complex, and it will cause lung infection, the sort of thing. That is why tuberculosis is one of the celebrity bacteria. Still, we spent some billions of dollars in the research of tuberculosis, but still the victory is on tuberculosis side. Tuberculosis can able to survive within the macrophages. Can anyone say the types of antigen presenting cells in our body? So tell me the types of antigen presenting cells. Tell me, students. Macrophage, dendritic cells, B cells. We have different types of dendritic cells. Splenic dendritic cells, Langerhans cells of the skin, and we have one more cells, follicular dendritic cells in the lymph nodes. So all these are antigen presenting
Excuse me,
cells.
sir.
Yes, Mr. Eric.
Can you please explain to us how come these antibodies does not attack sperms in female body? How?
How antigen presenting cells will kill pathogens? Your question is how antigen presenting kills?
How these antibodies does not attack sperm cells, which is foreign material in female body?
How sperms
How,
get attacked?
how this antigen does not affect, or do these antibodies affect sperm cells in female body?
Very good question, Eric. That is a really interesting question, and I will take one whole day on discussing about this sperms actually. So everyone, very nice question, Eric. Very good. So listen, students, listen. See, sperms. Just remember, from a female point of view, a sperm is a foreign antigen. Sperms are second person's antigens, and whenever the sperms are entered into the vaginal cavity, the mucosal cells, inside the mucosal cells, we have IgA antibodies. They will get activated. And whether female immune system will kill sperm cells or not, definitely they will kill. Definitely sperm cells should be destroyed by the immune system of a female. But sperm cells will carry a specific chemicals in their acrosome, in their head, and sperm cells are very good at suppressing immune system, suppressing the antibodies. So sperm cells has the capability of suppressing the immune system in our body, and also there is a theory stating that somehow the IgA antibodies that are present in the cervical secretions of a woman, in the vagina of a woman, those antibodies are somehow suppressed. Somehow the antibodies has been compromised. And we still don't know the exact mechanism on how the immune system has been particularly compromised in the vagina only for sperms, not for the other organisms. But still, due to this immune system suppression or compromisation of immune system in the vaginal cavity, the vagina is one of the it is highly prone to the infections. Vaginal cavity is highly prone to the infections because of the compromised immune cells inside the vaginal cavity. That is why women will get frequent candida infection, candida albicans infection, which is a fungal infection. That is an opportunistic fungal infection. So how the immune system compromised for sperms, that is a really interesting question that I will discuss during autoimmune disorders, which is in unit 4. Eric, it is a very broad question, Eric. For the answer for that question requires many fundamental, you should know many basics, then only we can understand the compromisation of immune system. So that is called anergy. There is a term called ANERGY, anergy concept. Anergy means immune system can able to tolerate certain foreign antigens. So that is called a toleration or a tolerogens or energy. So immune system will acquire the energy or toleration towards some types of antigens, and the toleration requires activation of a mega complex of genes to make the immune system tolerate to certain antibodies, so certain antigens. So that toleration we will discuss in the future lectures. That requires a depth knowledge in basic immunology to understand the toleration concept in the immunology. I will discuss later, Eric. Okay, a very good question. So in my next lecture, I will discuss about the structure of antibodies. So in today's lecture, a quick revision of today's lecture. So in today's lecture, we discussed about antibodies. So antibodies are the molecules that are generated by the B cells in our body. So B cells will get activated by helper T cells. Helper T cell 2 actually. So helper T cell 2 will release certain cytokines such as interleukin 3 and interleukin 4. In the presence of interleukin 3 and interleukin 4, B cell will get activated. Activated B cell is called as plasma cell, and plasma cell will start synthesizing IgM antibodies in the beginning. Then after 1 week, plasma cells will start synthesizing IgG antibodies. IgG antibodies are more stable compared to IgM antibodies. Then all antibodies are globulin in nature. That is why they are called immunoglobulins. So here they are globular proteins. If you see the structure of types of proteins, you have different types of proteins. So one type of protein are globular proteins. So all antibodies are globular proteins, and these antibodies are divided into 5 types or 5 classes. So the 5 classes of antibodies are IgG, IgA, IgM, IgE, and IgD. IgG antibodies are more abundant antibodies in our body. 80% of antibodies in our body are IgG antibodies, and the IgG antibodies can able to, these are the only antibodies that can able to bypass from mother to placenta, from the mother to the baby through placental barrier. So IgG antibodies are the only antibodies that can able to bypass the placental barrier, whereas IgA antibodies present in the body secretions such as breast milk or tears or vitreous humor. Then IgM antibodies are the precursors for IgG antibodies, and they are the largest antibodies in our body. IgM antibodies are pentamer in nature. That means they are a combination of 5 antibodies together, whereas IgA is a dimer. That means it is a combination of 2 antibodies with a specialized link. Then IgE antibodies mediates in allergic reactions and hypersensitivity reactions, whereas IgD antibodies usually reside on the surface of B cells as the receptors. So these are the functions of 5 types of antibodies. Then as I said, the actions of antibodies are mediated by 2 types, direct actions and indirect actions. Direct actions are include agglutination reactions, precipitation reactions, neutralization reactions, and lysis. In detail about agglutination, precipitation, neutralization, and lysis, I will discuss in the unit 2. So unit 2, we have a dedicated unit for this one. So these are the direct action of antibodies, whereas indirect action of antibodies here mediated by proteins called complement proteins. So we have complement proteins, and these complement proteins will get activated by 3 pathways: classical pathway, alternative pathway, and lectin pathway. In the classical pathway, these complement proteins will initiate 6 actions: opsonization by C3b, lysis, chemotaxis, agglutination, neutralization, and master cell activation. So no matter whatever actions are they will ultimately leads to a phenomenon called MAC generation. MAC stands for membrane attack complex, and this membrane attack complex will kill the bacteria. Okay, so that's it, students. In my next lecture, I will discuss about structure of antibody. Do you have any lecture now at 4 o'clock?
No, sir.
Then shall we proceed?
No, sir.
Then shall we proceed with structure of antibody? Shall we?
As
Yes,
you wish.
sir.
Yes,
Seriously?
sir.
Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Very good. See, I really like your enthusiasm.
No,
So
Yes,
let
sir.
me
Yes,
proceed
sir.
with structure of antibody.
Thank you,
So,
sir. Thank you, sir.
why thank you? Stay. Anuj, I will continue. Okay, listen. So structure of antibody. So really, are you really interested, students?
Sir, someone removing me.
sir.
Huh?
Understand.
Someone removing you, Anuj. That is very bad, Anuj. But right now I can't do anything.
सर रिमूव करना है बार-बार कोई सर सेटिंग चेंज कर दो
Okay. Thank you very much, students. We can proceed in the next lecture. Okay. So structure of antibody, I will discuss later. So thank you very much for your patience. Thank you very much. I'm ending this session. Okay. Let me download the attendance.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, because it will be too much for you if I go for structure of antibody, because I will take 1 more hour for that. So thank you very much. You can leave. Only 30 students present in today's lecture. Akash Bhati, Abdul, Aishwarya, Akash, Shukla,
Sir, I am
Anupriti,
present, sir.
Azad.
Sir, I am present, sir. Someone remove me.
Okay, Anuj, I will give you attendance. But do you listen my lecture? Do you attend a complete lecture? Okay, Anuj, I will send this YouTube link. So kindly watch in the YouTube also. Okay.
Okay,
so,
sir.
Okay. So thank you very much, students. I have downloaded your attendance. You can leave. Thank you very much. By the way, Nima, where is Nima? Nima and Joyce. They should join classes, right? This is too bad.
Sir, कहीं chill कर रहे होंगे.
So thank you very much.